Welcome back to our video series on the features of Google Sheets. In part 1, we will learn how to copy a Google Sheet as well as alter columns and rows. We've outlined the tasks and steps below. For our first task, we'll learn how to copy a Google Sheet. You can see here that you will go to the File menu, select Make a Copy, name your file, and then click OK. I'll demonstrate now. Once you've clicked OK, that will take you to your own file where you can alter and modify it as you see fit. Next, we will learn how to access the context menu. On a Windows platform, you can right-click on your mouse or your trackpad. On a Mac, you can two-finger click on your trackpad, or you can hold down Control and click on the cell or row that you would like to have the context menu pop up for. That will work on either the trackpad or on a mouse. I'll demonstrate now. To remove the context menu, you simply need to select a cell and the context menu will disappear. Now that we've learned to access the context menu, we are ready to alter our columns and rows. First, we will learn how to delete or hide a column or row. In order to delete a column or row, you must first select the row that you wish to alter. I'll go ahead and select row 5. Once I've selected row 5, I can bring up the context menu. I'll review my options. One option, as I mentioned, is to delete the row. Another option is to hide it. I'm going to choose to hide it. Great. You'll notice that when I hide this row, 2 arrows appear. If I were to select one of these arrows, as I will do now, the row will reappear. I also want to demonstrate how to hide or delete a column. Again, you can select the column and bring up the context menu and choose the option that you desire. In this case, I'm going to click delete. Notice that our column with Monday on it disappears. Another way to delete that column would be to hover over the column until you see this box with the down arrow. If you select that box, the context menu will appear with the same options. Again, to make the context menu disappear, I simply need to click on any cell. Next, we'll learn how to resize columns and rows. In order to resize a column or row, you must first select the column or row that you would like to resize. To begin, I'll resize row 4. Once you've selected the row, you'll hover on the line between the rows. So the last row that you selected and the adjacent row. In this case, the line between rows 4 and 5. Notice when I do that, my cursor turns into an arrow. This means I'm ready to press down on my trackpad or mouse and drag the row further open, like so, or closed. You can also apply these steps to multiple rows or columns. I'll demonstrate by selecting columns B through D. Again, I'm going to hover on the line between column D and E until my pointer turns into an arrow. Then I will press down on my trackpad and I will drag it slightly open. Note that when I drag column D open, B and C will also mirror the width of column D. Great. Finally, we'll learn how to freeze our rows and columns. In order to do so, you will use the View menu. You will select the Freeze option, and a pop-up box will appear to the right. You'll be given the option to freeze the first 2 rows or the first 2 columns, or you can freeze up to your current selection. In this case, up to current row 12 or up to current column J. I'm going to go ahead and freeze up to current row 12. Notice that when I do so, a freeze bar appears at row 12. It is this silver line running across row 12. If I were to move my pointer over this line, a hand would appear. This will enable me to grab this line and drag it anywhere. In this case, I'm going to drag it up until I reach the dates row, and I'll place it just beneath that. This will allow me to move the sheet up and down and lock the dates and days in place. Notice that I've already frozen column A in place. Again, allowing me to move left and right without losing sight of the hours of the day. That's it for part 1 of our Google Sheets feature tutorial video. I hope you'll join me for part 2 and 3. Have a great day.